Hi, I'm Kate Noble. I'm here at Shine Yoga in Cincinnati. It's May 9th, 2020. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. So I wanted to do a practice in honor of the Universal Mother. So we are collectively at this time moving through quite a challenging time. And some people have the idea that maybe Mother Nature is teaching us some lessons. So that there is potentially a little bit of harshness in kind of this idea of Universal Mother. And I think if we think about our relationships with our own mothers or ourselves, if we are mothers with our children, you know that there is a lot of love, but a lot of times there is a good amount of tension as well, so that the mother wants to keep everybody in line and keep everyone safe and flourishing. So I want to acknowledge that idea of relationship with mother energy can have a little bit of polarity. And so I want to acknowledge that and then focus on the aspect of mothering that is incredibly nurturing. So while collectively we might be moving through a difficult time, we might not be able to be with our mother on Mother's Day, our mother might not be on the planet anymore, we might have a challenging relationship with our mother or a mother figure. So in this practice, I want to invite you as a practitioner to really tap into the capacity to nurture. And as you tap into that capacity to nurture, just to really take good care of yourself for this next half hour or so. I'm going to try to keep this a fairly short practice. This is going to be a grounded practice, and there will be a good amount of work on hands and knees. So if you have knee issues, this might not be the practice for you. You could check out one of the reclined gentle practices and still get that same nurturing quality that I'm going to be offering here. I am a prenatal yoga teacher, and this would be a great practice for my pregnant students and in general for postnatal as well. All right, so we're going to begin with a little bit of centering breath work. So if you would just get yourself nice and comfortable, you want to sit in a way that you feel grounded. I'm sitting on a little bit of height. I'm a pretty flexy person, so I just need a little bit. If you live in a tighter body, you might have a little more height. And it actually feels nice. I'm just going to take that extra nurturing here. And what you want to look for is that your pelvis is pretty neutral at the top, meaning it's not tilting too far forward and then not tucked under. Tucked under is pretty common in this posture. So just think about setting your pelvis so it feels like if you imagine it a bowl that's sitting nice and open at the top, not spilling forward, not spilling back. And then a nice sense of lift through your spine. If you have hunchy shoulders, which is pretty common, just give your shoulders a little hug onto your back and imagine your heart shining a little brighter, a little fuller forward. And then if you would, close your eyes or just let your gaze soften. So if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, that's fine. Just let your hands rest on your knees or your lap. And with the eyes closed or the gaze low, just take a few moments to connect into the energy of your breath. Simply feel your breath flowing in and feel your breath flowing out. And then allow yourself for a moment to consider that every inhalation is offering you a sense of nurturing, that it is bringing in what you need, which in your most essential need is oxygen. And it is also creating a capacity for you to release all the old energy. So feel the way that the breath brings new energy in on the inhalation, nurturing you. And with the exhale is that invitation to let go of any old tension, any old perspective challenges. I'm finishing up a breath module with my teacher training group, and there's a teacher, Jessica Char, who talks about breathing out the rubbish. Breathe out all the old energy that does not feel nourishing. I want to remind you as we begin to move into the practice that everything should feel helpful and empowering for you, that nothing should hurt, particularly in your joints, and that you always want to have a nice steady flow of breath, that you feel stable in your mind. And if you feel uneasy or that you feel dizzy or lightheaded or you lose your breath, just pause and wait until you feel better to continue on. So taking a sense of nurturing yourself with having boundaries, in that you don't feel like you have to push into anything. Just choosing the positions that feel safe and empowering and nurturing. I would like to chant the sound of Om, so I'm going to bring my hands together in front of my heart, and I invite you to join me at home if you feel comfortable. We're going to breathe out through the nose and back in. Returning to your breath. And just bow your head down towards your own heart. Allow yourself a moment to have a sense of connecting to the energy of the heart, the energy of love. And allow yourself to honor the way that you hold love in your heart, your unique way of loving. And see if you can tap into a deeper level of love, that idea of unconditional love, the kind of love that can move past challenging relationships, the kind of love that is deeply forgiving, the kind of love that is accepting even though there may be differences, and connect into that energy of universal love. And just imagine that you can kind of move that more fully through your body. So maybe you imagine your heart like a glowing ball of light. And let that light radiate throughout every part of you, nurturing your physical body, nurturing your energetic body. Think of yourself on the cellular level. That light shining up into the mind. And that light illuminating your emotional body as well. Bringing in a sense of nurturing, of affirmation, of empowerment, of forgiveness, of kindness, of compassion. That in whatever way you feel like you need or would like to be mothered, that you feel a capacity to give yourself that energy. Good. Release your hands down and just roll your shoulders from the front to the back a couple of times. I always like to see if I can have a little bit of sense of coordination, cohesion with the breath. So you might imagine that as you breathe in, your shoulders rise up, and as you breathe out, they roll back and down. Inhale, rolling and rising, and exhaling, releasing. And then just move your head and neck however feels good for you. And do try to keep your breath moving. So sometimes as soon as we start thinking about what we're doing, we tend to hold the breath. So see if you can think, move, and breathe. The mother, the great multitasker, right? Okay, we're gonna come to hands and knees, and I would encourage you to put a blanket underneath your knees for a little padding, and if you don't have a blanket nearby, a towel works, cushions work. So if you feel like you want something, you don't have it, remember that this practice is about nurturing yourself. Pause the video and go grab something and come back. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and put that blanket underneath the knees, and we're taking puppy pose. So you're walking your hands forward, and in puppy pose, your hips are right over your knees, not pushing back. And if this feels like a hard pose for you to hold, you could cross your elbows, and then whether you're on your elbows or straight arms, let your head soften towards the floor. Take a couple of good rounds of breath here. And as you breathe, see if you can have a sense of lengthening your spine by letting the hips press gently back, but your ribs, your heart, your head reaching forward. Breathe into your back body as much as you're breathing into the front body. And then walk both hands a little bit to the right and press your left hip back. And have a sense of bringing the side body into a nice crescent shape. And then same thing other side. Your hands have gone to the left and your right hip's pressing back. And breathe into your right side waist, your right side ribs. Good, come back to the center and come lay down on your belly. Now you can move that blanket, but personally I don't mind it staying there. You just want to put it right at the top of the thigh, so not pushing into your belly. That way the legs are a little lifted, it actually gives you a little softer belly space and room. We're on our elbows and we're going to point our toes and then just sway gently side to side in whatever fashion feels best for you, whatever pace. And again, think about keeping breath in your movement. Let your head sway a little bit too. And then work your way back to the middle. Now you're gonna keep your chest, your shoulders up and back, but then let your head hang down. You'll get a gentle stretch in the back of your neck, but I also want you to think about rooting the tip of the tailbone down towards the floor and hug your low belly in and up. So your belly and low back are stretching forward, but your tailbone is anchored down. And just breathe into the curve of your lower back here. Now you can stay up on your elbows, but if this feels stressful at all, you can just cross your arms and bring yourself closer to the ground through your upper body. And then bend your right leg and just circle your ankle a couple times in one direction and then the other, and then wiggle your toes. And then same thing other side, just bending the knee and circling your ankle and wiggling your toes. Stay connected to the rhythm of your breath. And then extending both legs straight, take your hands out in front of you, your palms up. You're trying to push the thumb side of your hand down to the floor. Curl your knuckles in, pull your hands towards you, but try to keep the back of the wrist on the ground. We just want to get a stretch right here. So you're trying to increase this angle at the back of the wrist. Good, crawl your elbows in a little closer, and you're going to be on your forearms, and then we're going to lift the hips up, and we just want to do a little low belly activating. So if we have tension in the lower back, sometimes it does help to stretch that, but a lot of times it'll help us to tone in the front of the belly, and that'll open up the back. Good, release down. Place your hands by your side ribs, and then press back towards child's pose. So now you're moving your hips back towards your heels. This can be a challenging pose on hips, knees, ankles, low back. So if it doesn't feel good, you just return to this version of puppy on the elbows or straight arms. You can take your knees wider apart, and that will make a little more space for your belly. That might feel a little more comfortable there. We're just going to take another couple of breaths here, breathing into your hips and your lower back. Good, we're just going to do a few standing poses. So tuck your toes under, walk your hands backward, and come up to standing. And I am going to move my blanket out of the way for a moment there. So we're coming to mountain pose, feet right underneath your hips. And then thinking about your body in the side plane, make sure that your hips have not pushed forward so that your low back is compressed. Keep your outer hip right over the outer ankle. And we're just going to breathe in, reach arms up, and breathe out, relax arms back down. Inhale, sweeping up, and exhale, pressing out. And then we can come back to that idea of breathing in, nurturing energy, and breathing out anything that is oppositional to that sense of feeling nurtured. One more. Good, give your shoulders a good roll, and move your head and neck, however feels best. Okay, we're taking Bandhasana, which has a few other names, skier's pose or supported squat pose. So you want to bend at the knees and then send your hips back. And what we're really working on here is that we're coming into a squat form, but we keep the spine long. Make sure your pelvis isn't tucked under. So send your sitting bones back. Take a good deep breath there. And then you're gonna hinge at the side of your hip and pour belly, heart, head forward and down. If it feels good, relax your head down and you can shake it out a little bit. It's fine to keep your knees bent, or you can extend your legs straight if that feels nurturing. So, sometimes we want to do things that are challenging because we know it'll make us stronger or help us grow in a certain way. But it's also really important we take time to just nurture ourselves, to be kind and sweet and gentle. So take this time to be kind and sweet and gentle. We're going to step the right leg back to lunge. And you can keep your hands framing your front foot, or you can bring both hands the inside of the front foot. So again, what feels good in your body? Push down through your arms and legs, and then stretch your spine long and forward with a sense of opening your heart. Take a good deep breath there. And then just nice and simple, we're changing sides. Step the back foot forward and front foot back. And again, your choice, hands can frame the front foot or they can both come to the inside. Let your hips stay fairly lifted and then stretch the spine forward. So it's not so much about pushing the hips down to the ground, right? I'm actually pushing into my limbs, arms and legs, so I can work on the extension of the spine. Good, we're gonna bring both knees to the ground for knee plank position. Step your front foot back, hinge forward, low belly strong, shoulders back. If it would feel nurturing to work a little more powerfully, you could come to traditional plank, but I'm taking good care this evening, so I'm just gonna take this version. Bend your elbows straight back and lower your heart to the floor. Slide the elbows forward, come up to Sphinx pose. Think about stretching your heart forward. And maybe you can even have this idea of your heart blossoming. So as well as tomorrow being Mother's Day, we also have just gone through the May full moon, which is the flower moon. And here it was super clear. So if you can just kind of think of the gentle radiance of the moon and let that light shine from within you. Take a nice deep breath and then press back to your choice. Child's pose, puppy pose, and if you'd like to get a downward dog in, you can take downward dog. I'm gonna go with the down dog. And then feel free to make adjustments and little refinements in your movement. So if you're in down dog, you might pedal your legs. If you're in puppy or child's pose, you might do that crescent form again. Connect to your breath. Think about moving in a way that feels nurturing to your body, your muscles, your bones, your mind, your heart. And then everyone take your knees and feet a little wider apart, soften your knees a bit, and then just walk your hands backwards so that coming into standing pose is very gentle and easy. And then relax your arms down. Roll your shoulders back, move your head, neck. All right, we can't do a mother-themed class without doing goddess squat. So you're gonna take your legs wide apart and turn your toes out a little bit just so it's comfortable, and then squat down. Think about widening not just your knees, but your whole thigh bones. So we're gonna kind of think about opening up through the front body. Take a deep breath, stretch your heart long and forward. And then we're gonna hinge at the hips. Just bring your hands to the ground. Parallel your feet here. And think about pressing your hips back, your spine, heart, head forward. And as much as it feels good, you can stretch your legs more straight. And then you can keep the torso upright, or you can fold down and forward. Whichever position feels best for you, most nurturing today is the best choice. Other days we might do another quality, but for today we're thinking about nurturing. Take a couple breaths in that nurturing space. Good. Soften your knees, and with a long spine, inhale, stretch up tall. Turn your feet back out. Take a good deep breath, reach tall, and then exhale, waterfall down. Bring your hands to the ground. Inhale with arms like wings, stretch them out and up. And exhale, relax and release down. A few more times, try to be in the flow and the rhythm of your own breath. And if it doesn't feel good to fold all the way down, you can just come halfway down. This will be the last one. We're gonna stay standing. So as you come back up standing tall, stretch with your arms out, star pose, Tarasana. Take a deep breath in. Just have a sense of your heart opening. Remember the way that you love, your unique quality of love, and send that out to the world. The world needs as much love as it can get right now, and all flavors count. So send your love. And then walk or hop your feet back together. Take a nice deep breath in here. With your exhale, relax your arms down. Breathe in, sweep them up. As you exhale, stretch super wide so that you really have a sense of stretching across your chest and shoulders. The arms reach down and press your shoulders down as your heart lifts up. So we wouldn't want to walk around like this, but this is giving us an opportunity to lengthen these muscles at the top of the shoulders and near the neck. Let your shoulders relax, take a breath. Press them back down again and drop your right ear over your right shoulder just to gently stretch the side of your neck. Breathe into your heart and even have a sense of your collarbones widening, the ribs opening with the inhale, and then relaxing with the exhale. Inhale, lift your head up and drop the left ear over the left shoulder. Both shoulders are pressing down away from the ears for this exercise. Breathing in, there's a blossoming and opening, and with the exhale, everything kind of comes back into that bud. Good. Bring your head up and just look over one shoulder and then the other, and a couple times just like that. And then let your shoulders relax and finish off any head neck movement that feels good for you. And we're gonna come back to our wide-legged stance, goddess squat. So feet are wide, toes turn out. Breathe in, reach your arms up, and exhale, squat down. Take a good deep breath here. I'm gonna turn and mirror you at this point in time. So I'm gonna turn my left foot out, but that's your right foot. Turn your right foot out and turn your back foot, left foot in a little bit. The front knee is bent, elbow to the thigh, and stretch your top arm straight up to the sky. Try not to push your hips forward. So think about pulling your energy back into your center through your belly and then down through your legs. And as much as it feels good, sweep your arm alongside your ear. Take a sweet breath here. Keep your legs like they are. We're coming to warrior two, upright through the torso. For a lot of people here, the pelvis will tilt at the top, so keep your core strong. And then I call this one the warrior goddess or reverse warrior. You're gonna curl back. So a lot of the mothers in Indian mythology are loving and sweet, but they also have their fierce side. So this warrior goddess. And then come back to the more gentle version and let your top arm hang down. Try to shake out your rotator cuff. So that's the muscles around your shoulder blade. Shake out your arm, your shoulder, let your head hang down. Good, and then inhale, come up, and we're gonna take that series to the other side. So we're gonna come through goddess squat first. Goddess squat. Now turn your left foot out and your right foot in, and bring the left elbow to the left thigh. The front knee is bent. Take a breath. Make sure that your hips are centered and your pressure is down through the legs. Stretch the top arm straight up and just stretch between your chest and shoulder blades. And then take the arm alongside the ear. Find a sense of nurturing breath again. Sweet energy in, old energy out. Coming up to warrior two, keeping the lower half of your body nice and balanced. Make sure that you have not collapsed your navel forward, so just a gentle navel hug. Warrior goddess, sweep it up and back. Keep the breath in your heart. Keep the energy moving. And then back to side angle pose, elbow to knee, arm alongside the ear. And that moment of surrender, head and neck relax down. Shake out your arm, your shoulder blade. Good. Inhale, spiral all the way up, and just walk or hop your feet back together. Come to mountain pose, the feet right underneath your hips and pelvis, your arms at your sides. For a moment, close your eyes. And then if you are comfortable to do so, bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And just allow yourself to feel the sensation of touch. And that I want to honor that we all respond differently to touch. Some people love touch, some people have a little aversion to touch. But there is a sense of activation in the neurology of your body when there's physical touch on your skin. And to some degree, most of us crave that in some ways. So just take this moment to really savor physical touch. A hand near your heart, another hand on your belly. So if you think of the belly, the place we absorb nutrients, the place we absorb nourishment, nutrients. And just take a moment to nourish the physiology of your body with touch. Feel the warmth. Imagine that warmth spreading throughout your entire body, softening your skin, softening the connective tissue beneath the skin, the fascia, warming you all the way to your core. And with the hand on the heart, have a sense of feeling connection to the energy, the core of love that is said to live in the energetic heart, in our energy system. Honoring the full spectrum of energy of the mother, which we mentioned does have a sense of polarity. And tap into the energy of the universal mother that is unconditional, that is greatly forgiving, that is nourishing, that is affirming, that is empowering. And that if you feel like you are lacking that in relationship or have lacked that in relationship, to really activate it within yourself, knowing that if we want to feel love, the best way for us to activate that is to give it out. So if we're in isolation at this time, we might not be able to give it physically, but you can think about activating the energy of love and sending that out through your own body and into the space, into the ethers. And maybe you have some flashes of insight of how you might actively send love in physical ways, a call, a note, whatever that might be, some gesture of activating love within yourself and in your world. And to also honor any negative feelings that might arise as we contemplate on loving connection. To honor that may be a place where we've felt hardship and that hard emotions can arise. If we felt deep love with a person that's no longer with us, we might feel that pain arise in our hearts. And I would just encourage you to consider that energy is just a reminder of the beauty and the power that you had and that is also still possible. So finding a sense of courage and sending mothering energy out into your world in whatever ways that feel appropriate. And if you have your mother still nearby and you have a good relationship, or you are a mother and you love that place in your life, or you are becoming a mother, just to really celebrate the beauty, the power, the magnitude of the mother. And then with your exhale, release your hands down and breathe in, sweep your arms up. And as you exhale, imagine if there's any negative feelings that you sweep them out and away. Sometimes it's good for us to pull them up and clear them out. So we'll do that for a few more times. Inhale, empowering energy up and disempowering energy out and away. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, clearing, empowering energy up, nurturing energy up, and all the other stuff out and away. Give your shoulders a roll back and a last wiggle for your head and your neck. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then we're gonna waterfall down. So you're gonna bend your knees, hinge at your hips, and pour forward and down. We're gonna come into downward facing position, which can be downward dog or child's pose or puppy pose, your preference. Take a couple of good deep breaths there. Come on down to your knees, and this is where we'll be on the knees for a little bit of time, so you can grab a blanket or cushioning, like. And we're gonna come into low lunge. So let's take the left foot forward, and again, your hands can both be on the inside of the front leg, or you can frame it. And this pose can set us up to be forceful with our body. And we can think about, having this opportunity of gravity and body weight to push into a bigger stretch. Instead, I want you to think about this being a nurturing posture where there's not pressure, there's not compression, but rather a great deal of ease. So that you're pushing into hands and feet and then just softening the hips forward. Take a good deep belly breath here. Think about your breath helping you to lengthen your spine all the way up to the crown. I'm gonna move on from this pose, but I just wanna acknowledge that you could work deeper, bringing the elbows to the ground, or you could come upright. And we'll exhale and change sides as you're ready. Left knee down, right foot forward. And again, the arms are supporting your body weight, so you're resting into the support of your arms and your legs, and the pelvis is softening. So that rather than this being an activated stretch, it really becomes much more of a passive stretch and an allowing, a softening. Good deep belly breaths. Remember, you could take that other version where your elbows come down or your arms reach up. Okay, we're gonna come up and out of this, and I'm gonna turn and mirror you again. So you're gonna take your right leg out to the right, your hand support your body weight, and let the right leg slide or walk it out as far as it feels good. Somewhere around here is gonna probably be average range of motion. If you're pregnant, you don't want to increase your range of motion. You just wanted to keep it nice and stable through your pelvis and pelvic floor. If you are on the more flexible side and you want a bigger stretch through the inner thigh, you could go a little wider with the leg. And then you can stay up on hands or come down to elbows. Let your head relax down. And take a few good full deep breaths here. All right, we're gonna come back up onto the hands if you went to the elbows, and then crawl your foot in a little bit. You're still gonna keep it out to the side, and we're coming into stargazer pose. So you're gonna walk your hands around so that your left hand is on the ground, generally straight out from the knee, so that from your right foot to your left knee to your left hand is a straight line. Sometimes people put the hand a little forward, that's okay, but generally you'll get a better opening with the hand lined up with your knee. You could come up onto the fingertips if it feels tight down on your hand, and stretch your top arm overhead. Turn your heart chest to the sky. Take a good full deep breath there. Okay, now you're gonna bring both hands to the ground, and your left knee is gonna pivot so that your foot lines up with your right leg. And then you're gonna turn your pelvis to the floor, and then take the left foot behind the right and press, I said that wrong, take your right foot behind your left and press your hips towards your right. Take a good deep belly breath that helps you stretch your side waist. And then line the feet back up, and we're just gonna come up to take the other side. So now you're kneeling on your right knee, and you're taking your left leg to the left. And you can walk it or slide it out. And you can stay up on your hands or come down to your elbows. Pick what feels nurturing, what feels sweet and gentle and kind. You know, maybe we had a domineering mother and we wish we had someone sweet. This is your chance to give yourself that sweetness. Come back up onto your hands and crawl your left foot in a little bit so you've got a good amount of stability. And then walk your right hand so that left foot, right knee, right hand line up, and then reach the top arm up to the sky. Again, you could come up onto your fingertips instead of being flat on the hand. Sometimes it just feels a little tight in here, especially if you are pregnant. Take your arm alongside your ear and stretch. Open your side waist, open your heart. Okay, now we're gonna do that pivot. Your kneeling knee, that foot circles in, and you turn your hips and pelvis to the floor. And then you're taking your left foot behind the right and pressing your hips to your left. Look over your shoulder if that feels good for you. Good, deep heart breath. Good, release and take a downward facing position. So all fours, puppy, child's, or downward dog. This is gonna be our last one, so move in whatever ways feel nurturing to start to finish up the practice for yourself. And then we will come to child's pose with the knees nice and wide, your hips back on your heels. And again, if that bothers your knees or hips or lower back, you just do this version instead. Hips pressing back, heart and head softening to the earth. We're just gonna nice and easily transition to lying on our backs. If you are pregnant and you don't want to lay on your back, normally in my prenatal classes I try to avoid that for most students. You can do a lot of what we're going to do just sitting upright. Okay, so you're choosing now to come to lay down on your back, or you're sitting in like a seated squat position. And we're going to just take windshield wipers so your feet are wider than your hips, and then you're just letting the knees gently rock side to side. As the leg comes into the midline, so as the leg is moving towards the middle, think about rolling it inward and really lengthening the front of the thigh, the groin, the belly. So you can kind of slow the motion down, and that leg is rolling in, so you're getting a nice front of the groin stretch, stretching through the belly. Let both legs move to the left. I said that wrong. Please take your legs to the right. Sorry about that. And then roll over and come up onto your right elbow, or if you are sitting, just bring your right elbow to the floor. Now remember, we're working to be nurturing and gentle here, and if you are pregnant, if you're a mother to be, then extra gentle, that you're not forcing anything. Stage one, you're just gonna reach the top arm overhead, get a nice big side body stretch, stretch to the front of the groin. And if you're pregnant, you should stay here. If you are not pregnant, and as long as your lower back is okay, so if you have SI joint issues, you might wanna stay here as well. If you feel okay to twist deeper, both elbows can come to the floor, and you're twisting through your belly. There may be some of you out there that know this posture, the deeper form, and honestly, I don't feel prepared to do it, so I'm not gonna go there, but your arms go wider and your head turns to your right. So just be in the position that really helps you feel like you can use your breath to stretch any little tight spots in your torso and your back and your rib cage. Okay, and then either come back up to sitting or come back onto your back, and we'll take a couple rounds windshield wipers. And let your legs drop to the left, and then you're gonna come up onto your left elbow. And you can do the side body stretch, or you can come into the twist. And only if it would feel great for you, you can lay your head down on the floor. Big deep breaths here. Use your breath to stretch the inner body outward. Okay. Facing me, come to lay on your left side. And again, I'm mirroring you now, so I'm opposite, but I should look similar. You can keep your head down on your arm. Both knees are bent, so you feel nice and balanced. If you'd rather, you can float your head up and let it rest into your hand. You're gonna bring your knee forward and slide your hand down as low as it feels comfortable on your shin or ankle. And then keep your belly hugging in, not sucking in, just hugging in, and point your knee away from you. Try not to let your pelvis tilt forward. So you wanna keep your core nice and stable. And we're just looking for a gentle lengthening of your psoas and quad, the hip flexors, but you might not feel a giant stretch. You don't need to feel a giant stretch here. We're really looking for a sense of kindness and ease in this practice, just super gentle stretch. And then bring your knee into your chest and stretch the leg up, circle your ankle a couple times each direction, wiggle your toes. And you can just keep it here. If you do want a little extra challenge, if it feels fun to challenge yourself, you can reach up for hand to foot or keep the hand behind the knee. And then maybe work on balancing, stretching your arms straight overhead, your head down, and then extending the leg straight. There's a lot of balance work happening to not tip over here. Take a good breath. Good. Release, bring both knees back together. Keep your hips stacked, your knees stacked, hands behind your head. Stretch your spine long and let it be a gentle turn of your heart to the sky. Take a good heart breath here. And by that, I just mean you really focus your breath in your chest. Work to get your ribs to expand on the inhale and relax on the exhale. Okay, we're gonna come back onto the side and come into this version, this mermaid pose. There's a couple different mermaid poses in yoga and Pilates, so this will just be one of those. So your knees are bent and stacked. Your arm, bottom arm, your right arm is out at about a 45-degree angle, and then you're just gonna sink your ribs down, and you're looking for a nice crescent stretch on the underside of your body. And if you wanted more, you could hold your hand to your shin and stretch your top arm up. So have that idea of how can you nurture yourself today in your movement, in your choices of how you think, and your choices about how you feel. And as you breathe in, let there be a sense of heart expansion with the inhale, and exhale, letting go of whatever you can let go of now. We're gonna take that whole series on the other side, so you can just flip your legs around. And we're starting with the knees bent slightly forward, hips stacked, and your head can be up in your hand or down. You're bringing your knee forward, holding onto ankle or shin, hug the belly gently in, and press your knee away from you. Take a good full deep heart breath here. And so this posture really, for me, feels more like I'm stabilizing here and less that I'm stretching here. But if you're keeping this nice and stable and extending the leg as far away from you as you can, you are working on a functional stretch where you might not feel a whole lot of sensation, but it is lengthening and releasing tension through the muscle fibers. Bring your knee to your chest and stretch your leg up. Circle your ankle, wiggle your toes. And you can add that challenge level if you like, hand to foot, arm reaching out, head down, and then the leg long and in line. Good deep breath there. Good. Come back to side lying fetal position, your knees bent, hips, knees stacked, hands behind your head. Stretch your spine long, gentle twist through your waist. Think about twisting through your belly, opening your heart. Come back onto your side for that mermaid version. So your arm is at about a 45-degree angle, and then you sink your ribs down. Your shoulder does hike up by your ear a little bit, and don't worry about that as long as it doesn't feel uncomfortable. Sink down through your ribs. And then if you want to add on, you can reach hand to shin. And just really looking to stretch the side waist, side body. Good, release down. We're just gonna do another pose or two before we move into relaxation. So seated butterfly, bring the soles of your feet together. Put your hands behind you for this first part. Push down into your hands and lift up through your heart. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you so that you feel a sense of strength behind your heart. You feel a sense of support and stability, and the shoulder blades kind of uplift the heart. And as you breathe in, empower your energetic heart to stretch and expand. Imagine igniting that inner light of love in whatever texture or flavor that you experience love. Stretch your arms over your head and just try not to collapse. So try to keep a lift in the heart, a stretch through your fingertips. And then it's your option to return to reclining, or you can hinge and forward fold. And feel comfortable to place your feet as close, as far from your pelvis as you like. So I like them in a little closer myself. Just do what feels good, what feels nurturing in your body. And then come upright. All right, we are getting set to finish off with relaxation. If you are pregnant, I would encourage you to lay on your left side, and you can put a little pad, you can put that blanket between your feet and knees if you like. You might just cradle your head, or you could get a little cushion to support your head. Alternatively, you could stay sitting. If you're gonna come lay down for relaxation, if you're not pregnant, I would encourage you to come lay down. And if you're reclining, we're gonna do just one very small little bridge pose. So our knees are bent, our arms are at our sides. Look straight up at the ceiling, and then simply lift your hips and stretch your pelvis towards your knees. Think about sending the energy of your heart down through your pelvis, out through the knees, lengthening not just the front of your body, but your whole back body too. As you breathe in, imagine again the heart blossoming, the heart filling up with light. And as you exhale, just letting all the old, stagnant, unhelpful energy go. With your exhale, release your hips back down to the ground. Give your knees a sweet hug into your chest. Feel free to lift your head and shoulders up if you like, to curl into a tight ball. Stretch out long now, your arms overhead, your legs down long. And stretch not just your front, but your back as well. And let your arms reposition themselves at your sides. You can kind of tuck your shoulder blades under your heart a little bit there, and then spread them out, widen them out. You do want to think about encouraging the heads of the arm bones, the shoulders to roll back and down. Let your eyes close now. Feel into your breath. Let the whole back of your body sink into the support of the earth. Our great mother, who does provide everything we really need. Who provides all the nourishment that we need, all the essential elements, provides them all generously. Feel the way that the earth supports you through that gentle draw of gravity, hugging us in towards her. But just enough hug in that we also have mobility, that we can also stand upright and move around and explore the world in many different ways. So there's just enough gravity to hold us together, but not so much that we don't have a sense of freedom in many capacities. So it's that gentle hug of the mother, affirming, supportive, nurturing. Feel the way that your breath is also nurturing you moment to moment, giving you what you need and taking from you what is no longer helpful. So allowing yourself to be in that process of receptivity and generosity back. To feel the ebb and flow of the life force energy. To feel a sense of rhythm. To feel a sense of opportunity. To feel a sense of cohesion in the planet, but also a sense of independence for ourselves. Let your bones sink deeper into the support of Mother Earth. Let your head rest back. Feel all the soft parts of yourself. Your skin, your muscle, and in particular, the gray matter of your brain, of your mind. That it is very soft inside our skulls. And see if you can encourage a sense of even deeper softening. Your cheeks, your jaw relax, your tongue soften in your mouth. In the same way that we consider the softness of the brain, you might consider the softness of your actual physical heart and lungs. And if there's been any hardness around the heart recently, to give yourself this opportunity to soften it. Honoring the fact that just because something is soft does not mean that it's also not strong. To feel that gentleness within yourself. To feel the strength within yourself. That no matter your gender, that you can still feel all the qualities of mother within yourself. A sense of fierceness, an aspect that wants to be helpful, to guide, to teach, to inspire, to encourage, to challenge, to support. And in particular, in this practice, to have a sense of allowing nurturing energy to flow. Let that nurturing energy flow from your heart, through your body, into your brain. Feel the way that the brain magnifies thoughts and feelings. Feel the way that your mind can move through the world. That your mind can go all the way around the globe. Your mind can go into the past and into the future. And tapping into the energy of love that dwells in your heart, your unique flavor of love, Send love out in all directions. Feel a sense of connecting to the universal mother. And in particular, as so many of us are challenged right now, to send a little energy that might balance that. Loving, soothing energy. And as you activate that quality of soothing, loving, nurturing energy within yourself, as you imagine sending it out, that you now receive it all back. And know for sure that if you've tuned into my video, I'm imagining you and sending you that energy now. That we can feel a heart connection even though we're all spread out through time and space. Just take another few breaths here now. Nurturing, cleansing, loving breaths. And if we doubt the capacity for energy to flow from ourselves out into the space around us, we can only need to think about sound. That there is the strike, and then there's the vibration that moves out. Striking the heart, activating your heart, and sending that loving energy to every part of yourself, out into your space, and out through your mind to those people that you want to send love to. And then please stretch out big and full on the ground. If you are pregnant and you're on your side, you can roll to the other side for a moment if you like, or you can just come up to sit. If you're still on your back, do roll over onto your side. And then use the strength of your arms to press yourself back up to sitting. Let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts. Take another moment here upright. Just still see if you can feel a sense of that sense of connection and strength and calmness all at once. Breathing in and feeling a sense of being grounded and connected to the Mother Earth, but also the capacity for independence that she provides for us, a certain sense of freedom, that we have both connection and freedom, stability and expansion. Let's chant Om together once, breathing out through the nose and back in. Return to your breath. Bow your head towards your powerful, beautiful, gracious heart. And with your exhale, release your hands down, open your eyes. It's good to be with you in this way today. If you are celebrating Mother's Day, I wish you the best for yourself, for your mom, for your children. And if you're not a mother in the traditional sense, just to honor that mothering energy that we all do have a bit of within ourselves, and to send that out to each other, especially at this hard time. If you are catching this video on YouTube from the Shine Yoga Collective, and it's offered with reciprocity, if you'd like to make a donation, you can figure out how to do that by visiting our website, which is www.shineyoga.com. All right, everyone, take good care. Namaste.